Do you feel like your strength has quietly slipped away over the last few years, more than it ever did in the 2 decades before? Maybe you are eating better than you ever have. Maybe you are even exercising, and yet something still feels different. Your arms feel weaker. Getting up from a chair takes more effort than it used to. Carrying groceries in from the car feels harder than it should. I want you to know something important right now. That is not just aging. That is a very specific biological shift that happens in the body, and once you understand what is actually causing it, the path forward becomes so much clearer. I am Dr. Sarah Mitchell, and today I want to walk you through exactly what happens to muscle after 60, why the usual advice of just eat more protein and exercise more often falls short on its own, and the specific practical changes to your daily eating and movement that the research shows can genuinely help you regain strength, protect your independence, and feel more capable in your body than you have in years. And I want to say this clearly before we go any further. It is never too late to start. I will show you the research that proves that before this video is done. Before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome. I am Dr. Sarah Mitchell, and every single week I share health information that actually matters for people over 60. Hit that subscribe button right now and join our community. It is completely free, and it could genuinely make a difference in your health. Okay, let us get into it. Let me start by explaining what is actually happening, because most women over 60 have never had this explained to them clearly, and it explains so much. There is a window of time as women move through and past menopause where muscle can be lost faster than at almost any other point in adult life. And the reason is not laziness. It is not a lack of effort. It is hormonal. When estrogen levels drop during and after menopause, the body loses one of its key tools for conserving muscle tissue. At the same time, other hormones that support the building and maintenance of muscle also decline. The result is that your muscles become much harder to maintain and rebuild, not because they cannot respond, but because they have become resistant to the signals that used to work. Doctors call this anabolic resistance. Think of it like this. Imagine your muscles are in a room with the door closed. Normally, protein from your food and the right hormones would walk right in and get to work rebuilding and maintaining that muscle tissue. But with anabolic resistance, that door is mostly closed. The signals are knocking, but the muscles are not answering the way they used to. Understanding this one thing changes everything about how you approach eating and movement after 60. Because it means that simply eating more protein and doing light activity is often not enough on its own. You need to send a much stronger, more specific signal. And here is the good news. You absolutely can. Let us talk about protein first, because the guidance most women over 60 have been given is significantly underestimating what their bodies actually need. When we are younger, a moderate amount of protein at each meal is generally sufficient to support muscle maintenance. But after menopause, the body needs considerably more protein per meal to produce the same rebuilding effect because of that anabolic resistance we just talked about. The signals need to be stronger to get through. Research suggests that women over 60 need roughly 35 to 45 grams of quality protein per meal to effectively support muscle. To put that in everyday terms, that is approximately 8 to 10 ounces of chicken, fish, beef, or eggs at a meal, significantly more than most seniors are currently eating. Now, within protein, there is one specific component that acts as the primary trigger for muscle rebuilding. It is an amino acid called leucine. Think of leucine as the key that turns on the process. Without enough of it at a meal, the rebuilding process simply does not get activated effectively. The protein sources richest in leucine are animal proteins: chicken, beef, tuna, salmon, eggs, cottage cheese, and whey protein. Of these, whey protein is particularly concentrated and can be a helpful addition alongside a meal if you are finding it difficult to reach adequate amounts through food alone. Here is what this looks like practically. Instead of a small portion of chicken and a large plate of vegetables, the ratio shifts. A generous serving of high-quality protein, 8 to 10 ounces, becomes the foundation of the meal, with vegetables and other foods built around it. This is not about eating less of anything enjoyable. It is about making protein a genuine priority at every meal rather than an afterthought. One more practical point on eating. If you are currently eating just one meal a day, that pattern makes it very difficult to get enough of this rebuilding signal to your muscles consistently. For most women over 60 focused on maintaining or rebuilding muscle, 2 substantial meals a day with generous protein at each is a more supportive pattern. 3 meals a day may be appropriate if muscle loss has been more significant. This is worth discussing with your doctor based on your specific situation. Now let us talk about movement, because this is where everything changes. Exercise is not just one item on a checklist alongside protein and hormones. Exercise is actually what opens the door. Remember that image of your muscles with the door closed? Consistent, appropriately challenging movement is what unlocks that door and allows the protein you eat to actually get in and do the rebuilding work. Without it, the protein cannot do its job effectively. Without it, even hormone support produces limited results. The type of movement that produces the strongest signal is resistance training, exercises that challenge your muscles against some form of weight or resistance. And I want to address something directly here, because I know the word heavy or resistance training can feel intimidating or even unsafe for women over 60. Research tells a genuinely encouraging story. A study involving postmenopausal women with thinning bones and measurable muscle loss, exactly the group that is often told to be very careful and avoid lifting, found that structured resistance training produced significant recovery of both muscle mass and bone density. Some participants even regained height as their bones responded to the training, and despite the intensity involved, serious injuries were extremely rare. You do not need to start with anything heavy. What matters is that the effort feels genuinely challenging by the end. Not painful, but effortful. Whether that means resistance bands, light hand weights, body weight movements like modified squats and wall push-ups, or working with a trainer or physiotherapist to find the right starting level, the principle is the same. Your muscles need to work hard enough to receive the signal that they are needed. That is what keeps them. 2 sessions per week of resistance-focused movement done consistently over time is a meaningful and research-supported starting point. It does not have to be long. 30 minutes is sufficient. What matters most is showing up regularly. Now I want to come back to something I promised earlier. It is never too late. And I want you to hear the research behind that, not just as encouragement, but as fact. A study comparing people in their late 60s who had trained their whole lives with people in their 50s who had only recently started exercising found something remarkable. The group that started later caught up. The same leg muscle strength, the same body composition benefits, beginning at 50 or 60 or even 70 with the right approach, produces real, measurable results. There is one important nuance here. Muscle loss over time is not only about the muscle itself. It also involves the nervous system connections to those muscles and the surrounding connective tissue. The longer significant muscle loss goes unaddressed, the more complex rebuilding becomes. This is not said to alarm you. It is said to encourage you to start now rather than later, because every week of consistent effort is genuinely meaningful. Let me also briefly mention a few nutrients that support this process and are worth discussing with your doctor. Vitamin D plays a meaningful role in muscle function, and deficiency is common in older adults and is associated with greater muscle loss. Getting your levels checked at your next appointment is a simple, valuable step. Magnesium supports the energy systems your muscles rely on to function and recover. Magnesium glycinate is a well-absorbed form that is generally gentle on the digestive system. Again, worth discussing with your doctor. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish like salmon, tuna, and mackerel have shown support for muscle health in older adults. If you enjoy these foods, including them regularly is a wonderful habit. Creatine, while more commonly associated with athletes, has shown meaningful results specifically in older women in combination with resistance training, supporting both strength and muscle recovery. If this is something you are curious about, bring it up with your doctor as part of a broader conversation about your muscle health. I want to be clear, none of these supplements replace the foundation of adequate protein and consistent movement. But in combination with those two things, they can support your progress in meaningful ways. Always check with your doctor before adding new supplements, especially if you are managing any existing health conditions or taking medications. Here is the complete picture, brought together simply. Prioritize protein at every meal. 8 to 10 ounces of quality animal protein, spread across 2 to 3 meals daily. Add resistance training twice a week, challenging but safe, starting at whatever level your body can manage today. Discuss vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 levels with your doctor at your next appointment. And start now, wherever you are, because the research is clear, it is never too late for your muscles to respond. Your body still has a remarkable capacity to rebuild, to strengthen, and to support the life you want to be living. It just needs the right signals, sent consistently, over time. If this video helped you understand what is actually happening in your body and what to do about it, please give it a like. It only takes 1 second, and it helps this reach another woman over 60 who needs to hear this today. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a video. Every week, I cover health topics that genuinely matter for people over 60, things your doctor may not always have time to explain. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.